What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Align of the Stars. I'm Jordan, and we're back today with another episode, and a pretty special episode of the Build the Enterprise D from Fanhome. And one of the very last mods that we're going to be doing for this build. Now, obviously, it takes a little while with all the mods to get everything put together. And this is a mod that I've been waiting a long time to do, not just for, equipment. And I'm looking at you, tiny little cod strip, but also, as I look forward to all the mods that Todd over at myenterprisedee.com had done on his model remodel, this is one of the ones that I was most excited about, just because the change from the stock build to this modded piece could not be more dramatic. And when I said it, God, over a year ago now, like a year and a half probably now, when I decided to step into modding this build, one of the things that made me really feel like this was a toy, and it was kind of toy-like, was the deflector dish. And the thing that I've come across is that with these mods here that we've done, it's taken in all of the things that you could possibly anticipate. We look at the proper color for the inside of the dish. We got 3D printed parts to match what everything looks like. We're going to butcher this a little bit, and what we're going to wind up getting is a screen accurate rendition and version of the deflector dish on the Enterprise D. And I think that it deserves it. This model really deserves it. And just with a little bit of a different application, we're going to be able to go ahead and take care of it. So this is a fairly easy mod to do. For the specific instructions on what to paint and what paint color and what have you, I'm going to go ahead and throw down in the description of this video a link to the model remodel portion of myenterprisedee.com. And basically, we're going to go through, and I'll kind of give you a little bit of a rundown as we're going through. But this involves the Jon Bassi mod, which is going to be these two pieces here, which really improve the look of the overall deflector, plus all of the things that Todd had researched and figured out. And so, we're going to be using the gold yellow from Game Color from Vallejo. We're going to be using the frosted glass from Rust-Oleum. And then we're going to be using a 2.7 millimeter cob, which is the hard thing to find, and it is the one thing that I just wish that they'd gotten right. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into breaking down the parts, talking a little bit about what we got to do, and start by doing a little bit of disassembly. And once we get this disassembled, the assembly is going to go pretty quick. All right, so here is the deflector dish, and I can't remember when we actually worked on this. I think this was maybe stage 5, stage 8, somewhere there in the very beginning. And one of the things that I kind of remarked on in the beginning before I'd even considered modding, even thinking that I had the skills to do any of this, any of the equipment to do this, this is the very first model that I was building on the on YouTube. And so, I just remember kind of going, oh, that color is just not right, and as we start getting the parts for this, I'm just like, man, these colors just really aren't right. And so what we're going to have to do is basically remove the stock lighting out of the reflector piece. We're going to go ahead and remove the attachment piece and remove this. Then what's going to happen is we're going to go ahead and install, I think I'm going to do that with it out. We're going to go ahead and instead of putting this piece in second after removing all the stock parts, we're going to go ahead and put in the 6-inch section of cob LED, and we're going to go ahead and get it lit up. We're going to go ahead and drop in. So this is the stock part that we get. You can see there's a tiny little bit of raised detail. But the Jon Bassi design, man, look at that. It has the proper little dots, and it has been painted bronze. What's funny is I wish that I could claim that I did this beautiful paint job, but Todd went ahead and sent me some of the parts that he got from testing, as my 3D printer is currently down for the count. And so these have been printed by Todd and painted by Todd. These may have been actually printed by Shapeways, if I'm not mistaken, to get a really nice print on them. including like the screw holes in the back. Like this is really well done, well designed. Jon and Todd worked together to create this deflector dish mod. But then we'll go ahead to continue on. We will drop this in. Then what I've done is this was originally painted in blue, clear blue. What I've done is I set this in IPA, or isopropyl alcohol, 91%, for a couple of hours. Just let all the paint soak off. Use the toothbrush to kind of like get all the paint off as much as I possibly could. I realized in seeing it now, there's a little bit left in, but it's going to be totally fine. And then I just went ahead and put a light coat of the Rust-Oleum frosted glass, and it gives it, and this is the same thing we used for the Bussard collectors on the nacelles. It gave it a really, really solid look and really diffused it down as we're going to be focusing all of the light in the center with the cob to the centerpiece. And what we're looking for is to have it slightly dimmer around the outside and then brighter in the middle. But because it's going to be so bright, this was a perfectly clear piece, and just the color didn't kind of work. So we went ahead and used the frosted glass to basically diffuse it just down a little bit. And then once those are put in place, we're going to go ahead and put the Bassi deflector mod on the inside here. We're going to go ahead and lock everything in place, and then we're going to go ahead and light it up. It is a fairly simple installation process, but one that was done, and I got to say kudos to Todd and to Jon for the work that they did. The research, the testing of the parts, all of the different little assemblies, finding the 2.7 millimeter cobs. Like, this is a really good looking mod that's really easy to execute. All you got to do is just take a little bit of time and prep. And Todd and Jon did an amazing job of doing this. So kudos to you guys. You guys did a fantastic job, and I can't wait to see how it turns out in the model. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Let's go ahead and get into the build by basically doing some disassembly. So I don't know what these screws are, and at this point, I don't care. So we're just going to go ahead and remove these, as these are clips to hold in the LEDs. I'm going to go ahead and just keep the LEDs off to the side, use them for a backup if we need them somewhere. But there was a thought about possibly keeping the LEDs stock, but why? Doesn't make any sense to do so. And then for the sake of light blocking, what I'm actually going to go ahead and do is go ahead and put these screws back into place and secure these back down, as it's definitely going to help with a little bit of light blocking. We don't need to do too much, but you want to have a little bit of light blocking going on, as we are going to be running a cob through there. So, and we'll get into the cob and the cob color here in a couple minutes as we get to that part of the installation. Needless to say, I'm having to settle for a color that I don't want, but it's going to wind up working out just fine. I did talk to Todd, and I was like, hey, will this work? So, all right, before I do anything, the attachment fell off the back. We're going to remove this piece right here, the stock piece. All right. That made me laugh. I was like, what just happened? All right. We're going to go ahead and pop. Wow, these have been on here for a long time. A couple years now at this point. Why is that not wanting to come off? Okay. So, sure. I'm not sure why that's not wanting to come off. Let me go ahead and grab. I'm going to grab some metal tweezers. I don't want to possibly break the ceramic tweezers. There we go. These have definitely kind of stuck together over time, which is very interesting. And I can't remember if I had used super glue or not. Or, check this out, you guys. You can remove those two screws. Huh. Wow. So those are the screws that we're going to be using. Oh, look, it just fell right out. All right. I am not a smart man. There we go. Our centerpiece is removed. Good Lord. Okay. So while everything's aside, I'm going to go ahead and put these off to the side there. These look like the same screws, and they probably are AP or BP, but I'm just not sure, so I'm not going to keep them. So first up, what we're going to need to do is we are going to need to put in our own port for our wiring. And where I'm going to do it is going to be right up here in the corner. And what I have is a 2 millimeter. It looks like Todd did take that wiring out. Did you? Or the backing? Yeah, that's fine. So what I'm going to do is I have a 2 millimeter drill bit. I'm going to go right up here in the corner and just go ahead and drill a 2 millimeter hole right through. And I've decided that we don't need these. And the reason we don't need these is these screws are not very well fit into place. Very interesting. Okay. So I got my hole drilled out. Going to go ahead and clean it up a little bit here. There we go. Excellent. Now I do use, and I hope that a 2 millimeter is big enough here. You sure it was a 2 millimeter? I just grabbed a 2 millimeter. All right. I'm going to go ahead and grab a slightly larger drill bit. Maybe a 3. And for that, I got to get a proper drill. And we will grab a 3 millimeter. This is the one that I use for installing LEDs. And just go ahead and drill this out real quick. And there we go. 3 millimeters seems a little bit better for that. Excellent. Okay. So now what we have is a blue piece of 2.7 millimeter cop. Now, this stuff can be a little hard to find in 5 volts as I want to run this model on. And so I had to order it from China. And when I ordered it from China, it took 3.5 weeks to get here. And I've been ready to do this mod for a little while. And when it arrived, it's not the right color. So what we have here, and it is a blue. This is a lighter color temperature blue. I was looking for the same blue that we're using in the nacelles, but they sent me the next color temperature down. I checked. I did order it correctly, but they went ahead and just sent me the light blue. I talked to Todd. He agreed that we can go ahead. I can go ahead and use this. It's going to be close enough in color. Just suggested that I go ahead and resistor it down. So what I went ahead and did is I took a 220K, I believe, resistor, and probably one of the smallest resistors that I have. And I wanted to bring down the total wattage and amperage out of this because I want to be able to keep the cobs to minimum temperature. And it really just kind of, this model is going to be a pig. So I went ahead and brought this down. It originally came out at 2.04 watts. It is now down to 0.325 watts. And it was originally sitting at like 1.4 amps. And so we're now down to like 0.06. So this is a great resistor for it. It brought down the color temperature, the brightness pretty well. So this is what we're going to be using. And as always, I've kind of gone through and twisted my wires and what have you. Everything's all nice and clean, ready to go. I will install a JST in there in between episodes. I'm basically going to steal the JST off the end of this one. And we will use that to connect to either Arduino or just the stock board. I'll have to see if Todd says if I can use the board for this. I don't know if it's going to be powerful enough to be able to run it. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off the power here so it doesn't blow out the camera while I'm working. We're going to go ahead and test everything up here at the very end. We shall keep our fingers crossed. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start here by feeding my wires through. And get everything through, and I'm hoping that I made that wide enough for my resistor set to go through. And it just is just wide enough to get that through. Okay, excellent news. I'm very happy about that. Now, how Todd has positioned this is he basically created a little square. So we don't need to have it running all the way out to the outside, because what we don't want to do is what we're going to have to do is like put this down over the top. What we don't want to do, okay, is pinch anything, and that's why we're not using the standard 5mm cob. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to basically go through and I'm going to pull off the backing off of this cob, and we are about to do things. So once that comes off, you are in go mode. And what we're going to go ahead and do is, and remember, cobs, their sticky backs are stronger than most things. So what we're doing is we're going to run it along the bottom here. And then before we get to the clear part, we are going to make a turn and stick it on the other side. Okay. And we're going to run that along the very bottom. Then we're going to come around the corner and basically stick it to itself. Okay. So I am going to square off this edge a little bit, just like so. And there we are. Our cob is installed. It's going to get pinched in as well, so you don't need to worry about any of the components falling out. All right. So now let's go ahead and install our 3D printed part. I am super excited about this. John, if you happen to watch this, fantastic work. And Todd, let John know that I did this on screen for him. Yeah. Shameless plug. There we go. All right. So screw that one in. Just screw tight. You don't want to go super crazy. This is 3D printed and resin, so it's easy to crack. Okay, so just screw tight. And there you go. Look at that. Very cool. Doesn't need to be perfectly square in there, guys, so I'm not going to worry about that too much. Okay, next up, we're going to go ahead and grab the frosted part that we installed, or that we, the part that we stripped the paint off and then reinstalled. And what you're going to want to do is press this down around the emitter. There you go. And it is solidly in there. Okay. Oh, this is exciting. Like, this is like what's said. Like I said, a very simple, easy installation here, you guys. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and set this down directly on top. Oh, that is so cool. Get that clipped into place. Very good. Wow. So there's that. And then we're going to go ahead. For this, I am going to wind up using a little bit of CA. I just kind of want to see how this is going to fit. If I need to do any sanding, any adjustments, or if I'm going to mess up this beautiful paint job by using my thumbnail. Again, I did it again. Don't do that. We don't need CA. I have a little pen that I can use for that. There's that. I'm a little upset at what I just did there, but I can't do anything about it. So honestly, it needs glue. So what we're going to do, and of course, me being me and insufferably so, that was all completely unnecessary for what just happened. And so I just kind of compromised myself. So what I'm going to do is just a couple spots of glue. I'm going to drop a little bit down here on all four edges. I don't want to go too crazy, but I want to make sure it's secured down. So let's go ahead and get that pressed into place. Being careful, Jordan, not to use your fingernails. All right. I'm going to go ahead and hold that for just a moment, and I'll be right back. All right, there we are. God, I can't stop staring at my thumbnail print. All right. Just going to have to deal with it. I will paint that in between. All right, we have one little bit of assembly to go ahead and do before we give it a test, and I am super excited about this. So let's go ahead and flip this over. Go ahead and get the support reinstalled. As one does. This is a very interesting connection. Curious as to why they chose to do this way. All right, so that one is in. And that one is in. All right. Our wire is out the back. I will trim that down as necessary. But there it is. All right. I'm going to go ahead and turn off my studio lights, zoom in a little bit here, and let's go ahead and take a look to see how it turned out. All right, the lights are down. Let's go ahead and see how everything turned out. I have a feeling that it's going to be glowing from the two spots that I went ahead and dinged up. And it looks like I chipped a little bit of paint here as well. So I'll probably need to do a little bit of touch up, but let's go ahead and see. Oh, buddy. Oh, wow, that turned out great. I am really pleased with how that looks. That's really, really good. Yeah, as I thought, you can definitely see a little bit of light bleed here. I'm going to need to do a little bit of touch-up painting. I'll do some touch-up painting, and then likely I'll spray this with some clear as I want to get this cleaned up a little bit. And it seems like I got a little bit of overspray here along the sides where I went ahead and painted the inside of the deflector dish. So yeah, a little bit of touch-up work is going to need to happen. So I'm going to go ahead and take care of that in between episodes. As we get ready to go ahead and move on to pack, I believe it's 23 of the Enterprise and the stages as we're getting up towards the 90s. I believe this is stage 87, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere in that neighborhood. Yeah, basically, I wanted to complete this so we can go ahead and get ready for the next phase, which is going to be basically the main assembly. I've only got one other small mod that I'm going to be doing, in addition to the power mod, which I got some help from Mike Lane Models. I'm super excited about sharing that with you guys. And then basically from there, it's just the central power mod, like I said, from Mike Lane, and then just hooking it up to the Arduino and do some custom coding. But we're getting very close, my friends, to the end of this build, and I'm looking forward to this because this is the one thing that was kind of holding me back. And I got to say, now that this is out of the way, I'm very pleased, one, with the results, and two, we're now the hard work is done. Like all the prep work is done, and I've just got to do a little bit of touch-up work to get it ready to go. That means I can start working in earnest again on the build as the next mod doesn't kind of come into play outside of the power mod, which will be kind of touching as we're going along. The next mod really isn't going to come into play until near the end of the build. And so, yeah, I'm really excited about it. We get to start plugging away and getting a bunch of this model built. All of the mods basically have been taken care of that are difficult and hard to do, and I gotta say that I'm pretty excited about it. And there it is, my friends, the Jon Bassi and Marvel Phoenix Todd McWilliams deflector dish build or mod. And I gotta say that the work you guys did was amazing. Thank you so much for everything that you did to make this a much better looking piece. I'm really excited about getting this installed on the model. Definitely make sure to check out the link below to myenterprised.com and the model remodel section of his build, where you can follow along and do this. And I gotta say, of all the mods, this is probably going to be one of the easiest ones that you can do. It only takes us a little bit of work and a little bit of soldering. So there it is, my friends. I hope you guys enjoyed this one just as much as I did bring it to you. Otherwise, that's what I got for you today, and I just want to say thank you. I know that there was a million things y'all could have done today, And instead, you spend a couple minutes with me watching me mod a really expensive model. And I think that's pretty damn cool. You guys have any questions or comments, tips, tricks, please leave them down below. Like to support the channel, please like and subscribe. And my friends, until we see each other again, I hope you all have a wonderful day in this beautiful world wherever you happen to be. And just remember to always live long, prosper.